Oilfield workers, Bigfoot encounters in Alberta and British Columbia. We would like to go over some videos, photos, and reports of Bigfoot by remote oil workers, fishermen, and outdoorsmen in Alberta and British Columbia, Canada. Even though there are more Sasquatch sightings reported in the Pacific Northwest of the United States, there may be a larger population of Bigfoot in the Pacific Northwest of Canada. However, there are fewer people in these Canadian areas to see and then report the activity. Here are some of the reported Bigfoot activity in the Canadian Pacific Northwest. Fox Creek Sasquatch documented in Alberta. Several images posted. Curtis D. writes on RMSO Bigfoot Media. I came across these south of Fox Creek, Alberta, as I was working up a oilfield road that people who are not getting paid to drive on would not willingly drive on it for recreational activities. The road will destroy your truck in a day if you're not experienced. Even being paid, it isn't worth the stupidity of it all. I stopped at this creek because I rock hound and like walking the bush and being in nature. I wear a size 11 shoe and boot, and I weigh 210 pounds, and I couldn't jump to make an impression this deep, let alone clearly a foot bigger than my boot footprint. I've never felt like I was helpless against another animal. Even a bear, I imagined some sort of chance, but I didn't stay long to find out. RMSO responds, Hi Curtis. A size 11 boot would be around 12.5 inches long and 4.5 inches at the widest point. Curtis continues, Yup, that's right, and that foot is longer and wider, not to mention it was easy, 2 inches deeper in that sand, and I could barely make a print. The stride was around 4 feet. I was dumbfounded at the perfect toe marks and trying to imagine the size of a person that would take to make those tracks. Steve comments on this post. When I used to be a firefighter out in the Fox Creek, a helicopter pilot was telling us a story about a battery operator who met up with Sasquatch up near Burland Tower. Kirby comments. When I was working out in Fox Creek in 2014, and I told you about this sighting, I thought I had been driving down the Big Stone Road across the Little Smoky River. Got close to the top of the hill when I seen a huge figure quickly scoot into the tree line down towards the river across the marsh. Only seen it that one time. William writes RMSO. My wife and I saw a Sasquatch clear as day from about 75 feet last week, 15 minutes outside Jasper. Cannot even describe to you how much shock I am to see one. My heart races thinking about it, and I'm internally confused to how this animal has a breeding population. I'm very, very confused and still in shock to what I saw. RMSO asks, could you please describe what the Bigfoot looked like from 75 feet away that you and your wife saw? William continues, I saw him from the waist up. He was black with bluish-gray skin, with long arms and muscular. I'm in shock. I grew up in a very scientific household. My mother was a pharmacist and my father was a geologist. Discovering they are real has been different. We were fracking slightly east of Nordegg and saw it while driving to a lease about 2 weeks ago. It was along the tree line just north of Sunchild Reserve. We also frack up in Pink Mountain, British Columbia. One of the guys had a sighting there.
So at the first, I didn't saw it at first, right? Yeah. So when I was like, because in Chester you're getting the number of tubing and casing. Yeah. So I was like writing the notes, and then when I turned around, I was like, what the fuck? Like, it's like a human, a human fucking guy was tall, and he was doing it like this first at first. Yeah. And I was like, I thought it was a bear, because he came from this, and he stand up like this. There's no way a bear was gonna do like this, right? And he was like tall and straight. Afterwards, he walked like this, slowly like this, and he stopped, and then he stared at me, bro. He stared, and I was like staring, and I was doing this, right? But then I wasn't sure because I thought it was like I was hallucinating already. So I was like, okay, I run to my fucking supervisor. But then when I was running, I was looking at him, right? Yeah. I don't know if it was a bear chasing me. And I saw him run fucking so fast. Fuck.
I believe it. No, trust me. I know you're telling the truth.
We had a new guy quit the job recently because one ran alongside his truck near Pink Mountain for a minute and kept trying to open his truck door. Churchill had his sighting around Pink Mountain as well. A dead moose disappeared from the side of the road up there as well. A few guys fishing on their days off found tracks in the area. That road is new and going deep into the bush. Again, I understand you guys have some relatively deep bush. There is nothing like Alberta or British Columbia. I drive 1 hour on a dirt road to get into some of these places. Our water truck guy says he saw one in the fort and it chased him and slapped his truck. RMSO responds, we have had a couple of sighting reports from around Pink Mountain, including videos and photos of the Bigfoot tracks. There has also been a recent Bigfoot sighting captured on dash camera in Sunchild. Early morning on May 30th, 2024, a trucker picked up equipment near Sunchild First Nations in the Rockies of Alberta, Canada, spots a large creature standing on the edge of an industrial site. The trucker did not see the creature until he was out of the truck walking toward the equipment he was about to load. He quickly ran back to his truck and drove off site. The dash camera recorded the creature as the truck drove onto site. Height estimates put this creature over 10 feet tall. A fisherman has close encounter with Sasquatch near Pink Mountain, British Columbia. A guy that goes by DR writes RMSO after viewing a blog article and states, hello, just saw you post on the Pink Mountain Bigfoot tracks. I was the one who took the photos and still have the cast. If you want to have a look, you're welcome to see it. After we view the video, already knowledgeable with the video that he had showing the footprints and his sighting, we look at the cast. Just have to say, look how crazy and wild these toes are. It's so cool how they're frozen in time. You can still tell in this mold that the Bigfoot has a brilliantly skilled and dexterous toes and foot. You can see all the toes are all working independently of each other, much like a person's finger on their hand. Nothing like a human foot or toes. Let me get you caught up with where this cast came from. DR saw a Bigfoot while he was out fishing near Pink Mountain, British Columbia, along a creek or riverbank. He saw something brown in color. It ran up into the forest near a bend in the creek. He was convinced it was a bear until he viewed the tracks this creature left behind. It was not a bear. RMSO asks, how long and wide is the cast or tracks? DR continues, 12 inches long and around 5 inches wide. Yeah, we saw the video and the photographs of the footprints that you measured. You did a great job. Yeah, it looks like it's a little bit longer than 12 inches at the longest point and a little over 5 inches wide at the toes. That's much wider than a human foot. We saw the photos and videos of the tracks compared to a human shoe, and then we saw one where you or someone else put your bare human footprint next to it. So much different than a human, much wider too. We really appreciate you showing the cast and the tracks. Hope you enjoyed this sighting report and a look at the evidence this creature left behind. Definitely not a bear. This is a Bigfoot-shaped track. That's what ran up ahead of him that was large and brown and hid up in the trees. Keep on watching. We're going to keep on squatching. Bringing you Bigfoot evidence in the wilds of the beautiful, amazing British Columbia province of Canada. Sunny writes RMSO. I was always skeptical and had some belief in Sasquatch, but once I seen this, the hairs on the back of my neck stood up. Now there is no changing my mind. They are out there, and more than we ever know. I've seen footprints in these same locations several times. I don't document them because I don't want to draw attention to the area, and location will not be told. However, he did say it was in the province of British Columbia, large province, so it doesn't really narrow it down. Sunny continues, there are multiple here. I just only took pictures of the clearest track. There was a right, left, right coming out of the water, then they disappeared because of the solid ground. I seen 3. The prints were coming out of a very deep hole, at least 7 feet deep, and the first step you can see where its heel slid in the mud. Then the good picture I got is where its left foot got onto the flat ground, and the third print was very faint. It was on solid ground, but you could just make it out. RMSO responds, nice shape. I like how it was in the water. How long and wide is it? Sonny continues, I'm a size 10.5 in wader boots. I didn't get measurements on it, just took a quick picture and carried on fishing. I want to say 15 inches or more. I don't know exactly. That's still a young one on his way to being a big one. I've seen massive tracks in the same area, probably a young one with its mom or dad for sure. Where I've seen this footprint, I've seen many more in the area. I think a few of them stay in the area all year around. It's a perfect place for them, and it's nearly untouched. I have left apples and little things for them before.